Let me share my screen. Fine. So last class, we saw the Power BI basics, and then we have seen few of the row. We have seen few of the row operations, right? And we have got the data, first data. So we started cleaning the data, right? Today we will see some more operations. So during last class we saw the reduce column operations also, remove irrelevant columns, and so today what we are going to see, we did see some of the errors at the end of the class yesterday, and we have to remove those errors, and also we'll see the data types, and of course the cleaning, right? uh, and if we complete this, we'll move to our next session, which is this will again have the basic cleaning activities itself, right? Some more transformations. So, and permits, then we can go for modeling, right? Creating joints and all. So let's see. This is the file from our last class, right? Power BI file, session 1. And we were working on the sales data, okay? Sales raw data. So during last class, we covered like what are the various parts of the interface and all, and we were working on the transform data, right? The Power Query editor, okay. And most of the work, most the transformations and preparation of the data, right? That will be done in the Power Query editor. Let's see. So we did get data, we did get the data, raw data, and we have performed few of the operations, right? And I hope you have practiced the assignment I have given, and I have given exactly the same thing, whatever we have done in our class, okay? And I would like you all to have this assignment done on the same day, so that the next day when you come, right, you uh, you remember everything whatever we have done during last class, okay? Fine. So now the we have removed the duplicates, right? And we have seen here, we are seeing some of the, still we are seeing some of the empty rows, right? Some of the empty cells. So we have to see whether those are really some empty cell, worthy cell, whether which that cell, that row, entire row has some correct data, or what action we have to take. So just by seeing this color, right, you can identify which cell has error. So if it is error, then you'll have some red color, here red color strip, and if it is black, right, it's empty cell. So let's see why it is empty, okay? So here, if you just filter it, right, drop down list, if you just click on the drop down, you will see the data, right? It's a filter. So text filter. So now here you see the blank, right, and any field. So these fields, we have some data which is blank and NA. Let's see what are those data. So if you see that data, it is of no use. There is no information in those rows, right? If we had some information, we would have taken some other actions on this field, right? But we don't have any information on these. So these are junk rows, the empty rows. Only thing is it had an order ID, and it did not have any information. So because of that, it is sitting in our data set. Now, what we want to do, we want to remove those empty cells. Okay. So now we are taking it out. Okay. So, and you can, analyze the analogy between the Excel and the, Power Query Editor. So it's a Microsoft tool, and definitely it will, have some commonalities. So most of the capabilities, right, and almost all the capabilities from Excel, you will be noticing here. Okay. So now, and we are seeing some more. One empty. Okay, is still product ID, right? So it should not give. Let's go for there is see here what it's saying. If it's saying one valid product ID, but it is not the case, right? It is not the right information it is showing, right? So we have so many product ID, and there is no empty cell. Let's say if there is any empty cell, and so all the empty cells we have already removed. So there is no empty cell at all. And it will get auto corrected. Let's do some other operations. Now, it's a misinformation. It seems. Let's remove it and do it again. Do the operations again. Okay. The same operation, we'll perform it again. So, so now it should not have any, empty rows, and it's a misrepresentation, it seems. Okay, sometime it happens. Okay, so what you have to do, right? You have to remove. So once we have removed, now we are seeing that there is no empty cell. Okay, in these columns. Let's see. So there is one column which is having more empty cell here. Promo bin one, and the percentage of some empty cell we have already 92%, almost the entire column is empty, and we have another one. So this promo bin 2, right, it doesn't have any value, so we have to remove this column. Okay, how you can remove the columns. You can use this option, remove columns option. Fine, you can remove from here, and also you can remove by just right clicking, right, and select it, and by just by right clicking you can remove it. So another column we are seeing NA values. Let's see what are the values it has. Discount column 2. So this is not correct information. Fine. So either we have to remove this column because it doesn't represent any information, right? So and what is that information? Information which gives some value to your which will add some kind of value to the visualization, or for which will add some value to the analysis, right? So those will be the information. Let's see. Now we have removed the columns, we have removed the empty rows, right? All these. So let's see. The next step is, uh, let's create the a visualization, and we'll see what is happening with the visualization. So I'm closing and applying the changes. So now this is all these are empty rows, everything are removed. Let's create this visualization we had during our last class, right? What I will do, I'll get the delivery date or order date in the x-axis, fine, order date in the x-axis, and the revenue on the y-axis, fine. So now you see some values, fine, but you see the values are count of revenue. Okay. Did we wanted to see the count here? Like what do you expect from this data when I pull in these values, right? Order date in this x-axis, and y-axis has some values. So what do you expect from this? Okay, from how do you expect this visualization bar graph to behave? Okay. So hmm.
If I understand your question, so you mean that how do you interpret this graph? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm asking, that what do you expect to show in this graph when I, get some value, revenue kind of value, right? I get revenue in the chart, bar chart, and order date in the x-axis. Then what kind of value you wanted to, see here? Whether did you want to see the count of revenue, or what kind of value you wanted to see, or you wanted to visualize?
Oh, got it.
So yeah, let's go back to our transformation step. So what you are seeing, that we don't have the measures, or this is some dollars value, right? These are some measures, right? So we should have the capability to total it, to sum the values, right? Sum of the values, and we could have, we can also get some average, if we average of revenue. So all these things, we should have all the capabilities, but we don't have the capabilities right now. Why? And you can check what are the aggregation you can apply to this data. So in the y-axis, if you see the count of revenue, there in the drop down, just click it here, and you will see that you have only the option of count, distinct, and count. You don't have any other option. Also the percent of grand total that you have, but you don't have the options which are generally available for all the measures, right? Which is to aggregate, to apply various aggregation method, which are total, average, and so many other things you have. So let's see, why we don't have that capabilities. So the reason being is the data, our data, right? It is not properly, the data types are not properly set. Okay, all our data, this is set now. The data type is set to text. Okay, and you can identify these data type just by seeing at the left hand side here, ABC, right? This box, a small box here, this shows the data type of that column. Okay, now here you see this is a text data type, and all of this has a text data type, right? But we need to have a different data types, right? So we have to have a proper understanding of our data. So we, before you work on the modeling, before you work on this data, you have to understand, you have to query your data and understand your data, that which data can be used for what purpose. Okay, that is the first thing. And during the requirement gathering phase, you have to understand the purpose of all the columns, right? So that is when you work on some project, you have to understand all those things beforehand. Then you are doing transformation. Now here we have to make the changes. We have to change our data types, right, to properly apply all the aggregation methods. Fine. So now let's see here, how we can change the data type. Just you, either you can click here. Okay, you can click at this corner, and you will see the various data types available. And whatever data types you want to set it to, you can just click on that, and you can set the data type. So this is the order ID column, identifier column. So we don't want to apply any aggregation method, right? We don't want to sum it up, or we don't want to do. If we, here, if we do whole number, if we set the data type as whole number, what will happen? During this kind of issues, you have to think that during our uh, relationship creation, the joint creation, it may give some issues, because it's a again, it's a whole number column, right? uh, Integer column. So what will happen in that case, that it may aggregate, and it may not properly create the joins. Okay, so that time you may face some issue. So for all the identifier columns, you should always set it to text. And here, if once I have applied a step, right? I have already applied a step here by changing the data type. So I want to, if I change the data type again, similar steps I want to apply, then we can always replace the same steps. Okay, applied steps. So here, or you can add a new step, so which is not required for this kind of for similar kind of activities, right? So if it is different transformation, then we can go for new step. So now, and similarly, all the ID columns, we can set it to text data type, and it is already set as the text data type. Let's see the next columns. Here, this is order date and order date too. So by name, right, you can identify these are date columns. So you have to set the data type as dates. Fine. What you can do, you can change the data type one at a time, one column at a time, or you can also select multiple data, multiple columns, and change the data type. So the another method, one method we have, right, we have to click here, and we get all the options. Fine. To change the data type, another way to change the data type is select the column and right click it. you know, after you right click, you see here the option change type. Okay, there you can set the data type, proper data type. Now what I want to do, I want to set the data type to both of these columns, right? And also check these issues, like here there is one issue, right? In the data, the format are different, inconsistent. Okay, so these kind of activities need to be performed during data science activities also. Okay, so if you are working on some machine learning project, right? So you have to clean your data. So the same thing will be applied. The same thing, same cleaning activities, everything you have to do through either through Python or through these kind of tools, right? So you have to perform these things. So here also you see the format is not consistent. Okay, and we'll see, like if we change, right? One of the we will face some of the issues, uh, based on our local setting. Okay, so we'll see the setting options. Okay, what settings we have to do in our file so that we get proper value. Okay, so now I just want to ask you that, do you have any idea of local setting? What does local setting do? Any idea on that? Or what does local mean? Okay, so based on the local setting, right? So I'm in India, okay, and someone is in US, or someone is in UK, right? Based on their local means their regional, right? Their place of staying, right? So the different countries have different formatting style for currency, for date, and and maybe for some other things also, right? So based on the local setting, these tools will automatically pick up some of the formatting. Okay, so for that reason, so wherever, whichever country you are working in, right? So you have to set the local in a proper manner so that you get the data correctly. Okay, and and you have to set the data local based on the origin of this file. Okay, from wherever the data has been created, and we are working from India, that's fine, but the file may be generated originated from UK or from US, right? So based on that, the data is generated based on that local. Okay, US local, UK local, the data is generated. And but our local is different, our is India, so we have a time difference also. Okay, so much of time difference. So based on that, you may also see somewhere, right, that dates get changed. The you will see, if you are opening a file taken from US, UK, and we are opening in India. Sometime what happens, we see in Excel or somewhere, the dates get changed 1 day back. Okay, for us it's 1 day ahead, and there it is 1 day back, right? So almost like that. So you will see the difference of 1 day in the dates. So that depends on the local setting. Okay, so now here on the dates, right, it depends on the local setting. Now my current file is set on India local. So let's see if we change the data type, how this formatting behaves. Now we are changing, these are date data types, right? And you see the formatting are different. So let's see. Let's see. Now you can see the format is changed. Okay, but still, and you are seeing that some error is we are seeing some error here. Okay, so now what could be the reason? That this is because of our local setting. Okay, and how we can tackle this error? That error we are seeing here. Here the format is, first is day, then month, then year. But here the format is month, then day, then year. So we have to, and we can see we could not pass the input because it was expecting the middle value as month and first value as day. Okay, because our setting is India setting, right? So let's see, and okay. So how we can tackle this error? We have to, okay, this is set to date directly, not an issue. And we can also, so here we have to set this date using our local, okay, local of origin. So this is here we say India, but we need to set it to date, and the date format here you can see it's 1/2/27. First is month, then day, then year. So we have to set it to some other local which has input values like that. So English US, and now you see that it is correctly identified. Okay, the date is correctly identified, and it is modified to India according to India date time, India local time, right? So now it is giving me the month, and this is the month, and then day, then year. Okay, so day, month, and year. This is the India format. So that is done. And next one, we have two more date here. Change the data type to date. Okay. Now here also, if you see, this is the date format. Again, here we see the date, the same issues, right? And here is the issue, the same local, setting we have to perform. So these kind of issues you may face, and you have to handle it. You have to check all these, issues in your data, and you have to clean the data. So what we'll do, we'll just remove this first. We'll remove this. Date, and this will take it as so input is US input. Now you see this is corrected. Okay, that's fine. And we have the other columns, numeric columns, right? Because of this, we could not find our visualization correct, right? Revenue, we see this is text, and stock and price. So this revenue and price, this will be dollar value, right? So we'll give it, we'll change the data type to fixed decimal, and we know why. We have gone through this. Why means what is fixed decimal and what is decimal? What is the difference between these two? So let's see. So we have done the fixed decimal, and here you see some issues. Okay, let's see. We'll see it after changing the data types. And this data type transform we can transform it to uh, the whole number, because this is the number type, right? Stocks, fine. So this is changed. Now let's see what is the error. See, this is what I was telling, that this is once you get an error, you will see the red strip, right? So now we want to check the error. Okay, what kind of error we have? So if you see this data, this is not visible, right? The error is not visible, and we will go down to see the error. So here is the error. And why is that error for? So you can, you can check this error by clicking this and going inside. We have some NA values, right? In that. Okay. So that is because of this reason that we have this error. Okay. So now how we can handle this kind of error? Okay. One way is to, handle this error is, you can see, remove errors. Fine. So what it will do? So if you go to this error column, right, the price. So and by name itself, you are seeing that this is remove rows, right? It will remove the entire row. So if try to do like remove errors, okay. So what it will do? It will remove all of the error, column, all of the error rows. Okay. So removed error. Mhm. Fine. We'll see that.
So why don't you, why are you not able to remove the NA from the when you right click on it?
Yeah.
You know, is a NA which is causing the error, right?
Correct. Mhm. So
So
that's
if
what.
right,
Yeah,
okay, go
that's
ahead.
what. So see, even if it will not identify the remove errors, right? Why it will not identify? Because it doesn't know the data is a remove error. Okay, the data is error. So why it is not able to? That's what I was trying to show, that if you, even if you do remove error, right here, so it is not identifying the column, right? It is not identifying those rows. Why? Because the underlying data is NA, okay? And you have to handle the underlying data, not the directly errors, okay? And we have some other option to check the error, okay? How you can, so that's where I am moving to right now, that to handle this kind of error, what you have to do, you have either you have the option to remove the entire row if that row is not having, if that row is not having any value to the business. Fine. The row, but we can see that this row has some value, right? Which will impact our reporting. Okay, so in that case, right, in that case we cannot remove the entire row. Okay, so for this, what what we can do, we can, rather than removing the entire, so the option is, one option is go to transform, fine, and replace error. Fine. There is one option to replace the errors to some kind of value to 0. Okay. Replace error to 0. Okay. That is one option that you have, that you don't remove the row or column. Okay. And what you do, you just replace whatever error you have. Okay, but the other option is, rather than going that far, okay, rather than just we have identified that we have underlying value as NA, right? We can even replace that value, with NA value, with the 0. So replace value to find NA for this column, and we can replace with 0. That can be also possible. Now, if you change the data type, right, to fixed decimal number, so we don't see any issue right now. Fine. So that's how this can be handled. Okay. Do you have any question on this? Fine. So now let's see these two. Change type to fixed decimal number, and this is changed to our whole number. Now we don't see any issues on the columns, right? So the errors are handled fine, and we don't see these issues. So they you just remember that whenever you get the error, right, you can handle it either by replacing the underlying values. Okay, you can replace the underlying values which is causing error, and you can find out just by going to the error and clicking it. Okay, you will see what is the issue for that error, what is the cause for that error, right? And you can either replace the entire error, right, with some value, fine, based on the column type. You can replace those errors, or you can replace the underlying values itself. Okay, that is one of the way you can handle it. So now let's go back to the report view, right? And we want to see our data now. Now you see that this, is automatically changed, fine, and it is changed to, and this doesn't look so good, fine, because see, now it is count of revenue, and we have so many bars, small bars. What we want to do is we want to set appropriate aggregation. Now see, also you will see the changes in the fields under these fields. Okay, that before we did not have this aggregation icon, right? Now we are seeing the aggregation icon before price, revenue, and the stock. Okay, and also for the dates, right, you see the calendar icon. So this shows what data type these fields are belonging to. Okay, now we can see that what are the aggregation. We, now the aggregations are changed. Before we had only count and distinct count. Before we have changed the data types, but now you can see the different options available for the same data. So and this all this depend on the data type. So Power BI, what Power BI does, it automatically changes based on the data field, right? It automatically applies the aggregation method. Okay, and you can change the aggregation method just by coming here and clicking on this down arrow and set some aggregation method yourself. Okay, you can change the aggregation method. Like here we want to change it to sum, and so we have so many values. Okay, so many in order date. So we have date wise values. So we don't want to have the date wise values. So this, why do we have all of these bars? Because it shows the data for each and every day. Okay, and we will see all of these techniques once we have the data cleaning and everything is done. So we'll see all of this. Okay, but for now this is enough, just that we can say the aggregation to sum. We can change the aggregation method. Okay, and we can also change here the order date, right? We can change it to date hierarchy, and you can see the date, the values are changing. And we'll see more cleaning on these, these labels and all. We'll see all of these in the coming upcoming classes, right? And for now, we have seen replacing values and the column data types, how to apply the data types, different data types for different columns based on their column property, right? Data values. So we have done these activities. We'll do some more activities on data cleaning, and now we'll see what we can do. Okay, so for now these are some basic activities we have done, and I'm getting one more data source, different data, right? So let's see how we can now I want to get some more data. And so one thing, yeah. So the things I wanted to show you, that how we can set the settings, right? We have seen because of the different settings, right? What kind of error we are facing, what kind of issues we are facing, right? So we have seen in case of the data type, that due to that setting, right? The data is not properly coming in, or we are facing some error in the conversion, to the date conversion, because of the local, right? So how we can handle that kind of issues? Okay, so that can be done before before you start your work on any Power BI sheet, any Power BI file. You have to apply some settings. And what settings you have to apply? That can be done through this. Go to the file, and here you have the options and settings. Go to the options, and you have the set options here to set the load option, and to set the different various options. But we are here, we are looking for these options: data load option and the local setting, regional settings options. Okay, so now let's see. There are two options. One is global setting and current file setting. So current file settings will be applied only to the current file, and global settings will be applied when it is for all the other files. Okay, wherever we don't, if we have not set anything for on the current file. Okay, if we don't have any settings applied to in the current file, that those settings will be applied on the global file. So current file setting will, this will take over, all the settings on global file. So the precedence is current file setting, then we have the then global file settings will apply on that. Okay, so that is the reason, right? We were seeing that now for the data load settings, we have once you open a new file, new Power BI file, you will see that for you, uh, this first radio button is checked. Okay, always detect column types and headers for unstructured sources. This is automatically detected, right? But in our case, we don't want to detect anything, because see, you may have seen that the ID columns which are of number type, kind of, right, those will be automatically detected as number, but we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to set the data type for ID as number type, right? So that is the and we want to learn everything here now, so manually. So that is the one reason also that we don't want to set the type detection. Okay, you have to set all the types yourself, so that you learn it properly. And you can always set the detect column type. So and later you can go to the column headers and see the types and all, and you can change it manually, whatever column type is not properly set, so that you can do also. So that is the, we have to check this never detect column types. So that is one setting we are seeing. Okay, and we don't bother about any other setting here. Next one is regional setting. So here that this is where I was telling you the about the local setting. Okay, the based on the language, right? This is the language, right? Based on this, the local is set, the data type, data format and all, for currency, for date type, or for any number type, right? 1,000 separators and all those things, maybe based on the different locals, it will be automatically detected. So we want to here, if you see that I have the global setting as regional, this English, right? But in the but we you have seen in my file that that was detecting India language, Indian local, right? India local. How, why it was detecting India local? Because in my current file setting, right, I don't want to import. Okay, I don't want to auto detect any relationship, because we want to create the relationship ourselves. We don't want to detect any relationship. Okay, so now, and here auto date time, that will also when you face some issues in your file in date, right, changes. So this is because of this auto intelligence, time intelligence. Okay, it detects the different regions, and based on that, based on the source value, it changes the data also. Like a US file, when it comes with a date of 1st of October, and it comes to India, then it may become the 30th of September, kind of thing. Okay, so it may happen like that. So because of this time difference and all. Now this is regional settings. Okay, and here we can see I did set India, that because of that this precedence of India local was taken. Okay, and because of that we had the issue in the formatting. Okay, different formatting, different column had different formatting, and we had to set the local for that to get the proper formatting. Okay. So now, what we want to do, what I would suggest you, before you start, right, you the next class, next session, when you are taking when you are creating getting new data, right? You work on a new file where what you will do, you will create a file, and in that file, first you set, and I will also do the same. What I will do, because when I share my file, right, with you people, then you and me, we both have the same settings. Okay, we both have the same settings, and so I will set to US local. And now, whenever I work on this, file, whenever I work on this file, right, with US local, so it will always have the uh, settings, set that. Okay. Now, what I want to do, I want to, we have already seen our first visualization, the bar graph, right? And we have seen some basic cleaning. I want to do some more, cleaning on the data. So I will take another file in this new, file, right? Get, will have data called, so there's a file called store cities. Okay. Now I want to work on this file and work on to clean this data. Okay, how we can clean this? So by seeing this, right, what are the issues you may face, right? So you want to let me just say like this, that you want to you know uh, see the total store size. Would you be able to do this with this data, using this data, the total store size, or total store size based on state, or total store size based on some city ID? Is it possible? Can you identify that?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, but if you see, right, if you see the store size, it's a number, and we have a combination of the unit. Okay.
Units, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of text, right? It is not a number type that we can aggregate, right? So that means we have to clean this data to get into the format, number format, so that it can be, we can apply the aggregation methods, right? We will, first of all, what we will do, we will set the first column as headers, use the first row as headers, fine. So this is done. Next activity is, next thing what we need to do is to set the data type of the columns. So for now, all of these having text data format. So this is fine, because we don't have the data in other format here right now, but we have to perform some cleaning activities, which or what we want to do first, we want to get the numbers out of this, right? If you want to get the numbers out of this, right, what we have to do?
We can split the data.
Yeah. So we have this split method, and also, right, this is one of the things, one of the options we have in this. And so also we have other options called, this replace. Means we can replace if we have common formatting, kind of like m square, or if it is common, then we can replace those values, okay? Or even we can extract. So there are a few things we have, the options here. So let's see. We want to first thing we want to see is extract, okay? And extract can be done, based on the range, column, this one,
Extract
or
for delimiting.
based on the delimiter. So there are so many, extract options, right? So let's see, we want to do based on delimiter. So what kind of delimiter we have here? Space, right? After between these numbers and the units, we have a space. So just we give a space, and we want to extract it. Oh, I selected the wrong column. Fine. So just a space, and you can see we have extracted only the numbers, right? And now we can set the the data type to number for this. Fine. So we will be seeing all the different options again to clean this data, okay? And the various I will share this file with you. You can also do the hands-on beforehand, before our next class, on Monday. So we'll see the more different activities on on text. We'll be seeing the basic calculations, or this application of the aggregations, how we can aggregate the data, or how we can calculate, how we can do basic numeric operations. So those text operations we will perform, how we can perform those. So all those things we'll see in our next session, okay? So that's what we have. Now we have this, as we have this store size, and we can change the data type to whole number, right? And we can visualize now that which city, okay? Here we don't have the city aggregation or name, right? Here we have the only city ID, and in the other column, right? Here we have state abbreviation and city. So based on this, we can check like which city has a company has some stores in different cities, right? So they want to check their total size, store size in that city-wide. They want to check the store size. So how they can check the store size? So we can quickly see in the visualization how easy it is to check the different size, right? Let's see.
I have a question though.
Yes.
So when we made away with the units,
Hmm.
some of the units were different, like they were not the same. Some were
Correct.
meters, some were so, but now we took the units off, and we are just using the numbers. Would it really represent the actual numbers that we are looking at, or is just gonna be just using the numbers and forgetting about the units?
Correct. Yeah, correct. So actually for now we are not looking at that perspective. So again, to give the actual numbers, right? We have somewhere a meter square, we may have somewhere the feet, we may have somewhere the cubic meter, some kind of thing like that, right? So again, that can be handled in DAX kind of things, okay, where we calculate something based on our data, okay. Based on the actual data, we want to transform the units, right? We want to do something, some other activities based on the data, so that we will handle when we
Okay.
take the calculations and all those, we learn those things, okay.
Okay.
But for
Okay.
now
Sounds good.
we are just seeing how we can clean our data based on our data, okay.
Sounds good.
Fine. So we can quickly check the visualization on stores. Okay. We can also see the table visualization. Okay. Based on the city, here you see, and in the table we have only one columns. Okay. And here the state will check the state, and then we'll take the store size, and that will be aggregated. So the different state, different city has the store size, and how quickly we can get this, you can see the power of Power BI here. Okay, that just in a minute or so you can clean your data and get it to visualize it. So that's how we can perform, and we'll see the next during next session the other cleaning activities. Okay. Now we'll just go for a small quiz. Okay, I just have 3 questions, just 1 minute it will take. Okay, for now, let's see this question. Okay, why is it important to have to set appropriate data types? Which is the correct
This will
answer?
enable us
Okay, this will
this will
enable us to aggregate
use
and
segregation.
visualize the methods, right? So this is the correct answer. Fine. The next one is removing error tool, right? Is used for which purpose?
Removing the error cell.
It will remove the entire error cell. Okay, so we don't want to. We would like to, mostly avoid that based on our data set. Okay, we would like to perform some other activities so that we can clean and we replace the value with something else, something valuable, right, meaningful. So that we would like to do. So the third and last question is, where replace error tool can be found? Where do we have the replace error?
Transform button.
Yeah. So we have seen it in under transform
Transform.
button. Yeah. In transform, under transform, if you go to this transform button, here you see replace values, and under that we have this replace values and replace errors. Okay. So that's all we have for today's class. Okay. We'll
Sir,
see.
I have a doubt.
Yes.
Yes, in previous data set, there is a row ID, right? So you left that row ID as a text. So may I know the reason, sir? Because that is a numerical column, and you keep that column
Text.
as a row, a text only.
Correct, right. So you have to understand the ID, okay? First, the store ID kind of thing, right? So this is some
Yes,
ID,
yes.
right? So and in the previous, the other file you are referring to is, basic cleaning, and here. So this file you are referring to, okay?
Yes, sir.
So you want to say that I have, left this data type as text itself. Why?
Text.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
here, if you see the numbers, right, this new numbers, right, once for the identifier, we don't want the identifiers to get aggregated, to get summed up.
Okay.
because it will identify each and every row. Okay. And if it is, summed up to 1 plus 2, 3, then definitely it will cause some issue, right? If our data gets aggregated somehow because of some reason, right? We suppose we are pulling only the order ID, and then we are pulling some date, right? For the same date, we may have so many order IDs. Then it will automatically get aggregated because we don't have any other detailed information. If we have some detailed information which will identify a row uniquely, that's then fine, that we can use the number type also. But we know that we cannot guarantee that it will uniquely identify. We will have such values which will not get rolled up and aggregated. Okay, so always the identifier that will be set to non-aggregated data type. Okay, that is here text, string data type kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
But in case of you will see in ETL projects and all, right, the data which is taken by sequence. Okay, and we'll see this concept. Okay, the data warehousing basic concept which I have planned, right, for the first class, but I have not taken because of some reason. We will discuss those keys and all these keys, right. So we'll discuss in the other class where we are starting with our modeling. Okay, there we will see the basic of data warehousing concept. Okay, and different keys, different relationships, how we can join, and all those things. So we'll discuss that. So for now, we don't want to aggregate it, and we want to have it as identifier and text. Okay, only. Okay, so because of that reason, it is left as text. Fine.
Okay. So order ID is also helping in visualization somewhere, or
Yeah,
does
order
we
ID,
usually do not take?
correct. Order ID will, it will help you visualize. So you have to understand like what order ID means. It means one order, per row, right? So how you
Yes, sir.
can visualize it, you may want to get a count. Okay, you may want
Yes,
to see
yes.
something else like that. Okay, so those in that manner. So you have to understand like how you can use your data to visualize, or what kind of information you want from your data. Okay, that you have to be first, you have to be clear on that. Then only you can use your data properly and the visualization tool properly. Otherwise, if you don't understand your data, that will be difficult to use also. Even if you know the visualization tools and all, it will not help you analyze your data if you don't know it properly. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Then that's it. We are already 14 minutes over. Thank you. We'll see on the next session on Monday. If you have any other question, any more
No, sir.
question?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. 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 Thank you. And you can always ping in the group chat if you have any questions. Okay, whenever I find some time, okay, I will reply on that. Fine.
Sir,
Okay,
from where
thank
we
you.
get this data?
Yeah, I'm sharing everything, right? You have got
Okay.
the data, whatever I have shared. So
No,
in
no,
Google,
sir.
no, Google Drive I have already shared, and
Okay,
I
okay,
have given
okay,
you link. Yeah, I have
okay,
already given you access to that. Yeah,
okay,
and
sir.
for
I will check.
every session I will be sharing, I will be putting these files in Google Drive, and the other videos will be shared through YouTube. Okay,
Okay, sir.
you'll have access, private access. I think first one class was open for everyone, but you'll have private access to videos. Okay. Okay then. Thank you. So
Thank you, sir.
that's all. We can wrap up today.